Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 499 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, September 18th, 2022. My name is Chris, but I am also joined this week, as per usual, with my faithful cohorts. We'll start first with Mr. Anthony Bachman.
And how do you do?
Howdy do?
Something like that.
Interesting. Perhaps even Pinteresting. But we're also joined by Mr. Willie Nelson.
Show us your butthole. For more news on that, stay tuned.
That's what we call a tease in the business. Not very well executed, but scandalous nonetheless. It's the ATGN way.
That's true.
And I'm sure by the end of us, you will show us your butthole.
No, you won't.
You might show us your butthole.
If you decide to, please don't include Bachman and I on that.
If you do, at South Porky on Twitter.
Thank you. I was going to say,
There you go.
I don't want to see any of this. I don't.
Show us your butthole. I'll share it with them. Don't worry. I got you.
Willie, I'm just going to send you a link to Goatsy.
Okay, now.
You said you wanted to see it.
That's not a butthole. That's a lower intestine.
You're not wrong. That's a flashback for the ages. But no, other than the shock value of that, what Willie was saying there does actually tie into his News of the Week story in a very funny manner. We'll get to that later.
It's a foreshadowing.
Yes, we're foreshadowing is what we're doing around here. Willie's also got a cat with him right now. How's your cat today?
Doing good. Just wants to be very affectionate out of nowhere.
Because it's cat, so it knows when you're busy with other things that's when it demands attention and needs attention.
So it gets the slaps on the ass. There you go. Slap, ass slap.
I
wish you wouldn't show me your butthole.
Cats love to show off the Eye of Sauron. That's what it is. It's the Eye of Sauron. I gotta tie things back to geeky things. It's part of our brand. What's wrong, Willie?
Did you fucking call down the Eagles of Gondor? What the fuck ever they're called?
I don't know enough about Lord of the Rings to be able to tell you that.
That new show's about as interesting as a cat's butthole.
Supposedly the production value is insane in it, from what everyone's saying. It's
a real pretty boring ass show.
Yeah, it's called what the Lord of the Rings movies were.
All right, so I mean, if we're talking about like, I hate those people. Like, I really hate those people that say the whole "go woke, go broke" shit. Go fuck yourselves. You're just fucking being you're extreme to one side. I don't care. But also on the other side, Amazon's fucking promotional material for that show is also like they're just trying to do buzzwords. You could tell that's all they're trying to do. That's all. It's like you're doing it for this reason just to get views. Like you don't give a fuck about it. You're just doing it for the views. Like, all right.
What's really sad
I can see it.
Every episode they've done so far, you could cut it in half. If you had a good editor, you could cut the episodes in fucking half. They are just slow paced like shit. And probably the most interesting story they've done so far completely goes against the go broke bullshit because the black elf character is probably the most interesting character so far.
I thought it was a dwarf.
No, the black dwarf, she's cool too.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's a black dwarf she's married to the prince of the dwarves, so the king's son. She's a great character. She's hilarious and a really good actress. But the best action you've seen on screen after 4 episodes is the black elf character who has fought some orcs and done some cool shit. His character is actually interesting. He's basically a soldier of war now, that's been captured, gone through some shit. And Galadriel just keeps marching into rooms and being pissy and telling people what she's mad about. Her story is so boring, and I just don't give a shit. The most boring part of it is the white elf and the white male that she's hanging out with, who is apparently just another version of Strider, because he's the hidden king of the humans. Again. It's like, didn't we have a series of 3 movies about this already? You have another hidden king. That's another guy that's like, oh, I just don't want to be king, so I'm going to go hide. but then wear the crest of my kingdom in a sack around my neck because I'm obviously a dumbass. It's, yeah. Like, if you got rid of those two characters' stories, the show would be a hell of a lot more interesting.
Did no one talk about Witcher when they had a black elf? There was like, he was a main guy. It was like, he was a side character still, but I mean, he was there for a lot of it.
I think there was a little bit about him, yeah, that people were pissy.
People get pissy anytime there's someone besides a straight white male on screen, it seems like. That riles up a certain base of people. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that that's a thing. I fucking hate that's a thing.
I 100% agree with you.
Because then I don't want to argue against it because I feel like a fucking idiot for that too.
Well, I think there's a difference between arguing behind something that makes sense versus... So the thing that's always kind of gotten me a little bit is when you take a character and change what they are to then call yourself progressive. So like at one point in time, remember the New 52, they turned Wally West black. They've kind of spun him off onto his own character now. But I was like, but there's already a Wally West.
And they made him black in the show too, didn't they?
And they did. And they did also.
Well, but in the show, it made sense because they made Barry's adoptive father a black guy. So the family he grew up with was black. And so his long lost cousin was a black guy. That made sense in the show.
I love their dynamic in that show. Fucking Joe West and Barry Allen. Fucking love their dynamic.
They're
so
amazing.
I
could watch those two actors just playing off each other forever.
Yeah.
But then, they also did, well, at the same time, you had DC doing we're going to do a big announcement. We're going to make a huge character gay. We're going to make a character gay. It's going to be such a big deal. And they're like, and then they leaked the news. It's going to be a Green Lantern. We're going to make one of the biggest characters in DC gay. And then what they did was they said, no, Alan Scott's gay. And he's been gay.
The Golden Age
exactly.
Green Lantern.
The Golden Age Green Lantern who can't affect wood and who actually uses a magical lantern. The character that almost nobody knew the name of and was only relevant at the time because of his two kids that he had from a hetero marriage. So it was the dumbest thing ever because they're like, we're going to make this character gay. And so they were just going to retcon a character and say that, no, he's been gay the whole time. He was just in the closet. It's like,
so they made a character gay and his weakness is wood. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious?
No, remember
it writes itself. Holy shit.
At one point, Marvel had Scarlet Witch's kids running around and their names were Speed and Asgardian. And then they decided that the Asgardian character was going to fall in love with Changeling. And so then they're like, wait, we have a gay teenage boy whose name is Asgardian. We're going to change his name to Wiccan.
Yeah.
Well, was he Asgardian anyway?
No.
But
so then why was that his name?
But this was Young Avengers.
They like Thor and had magic powers.
They portrayed themselves after the heroes that they idolized and things like that.
Yeah.
But
okay, that makes sense.
I think it makes more sense to, instead of change existing characters, create new characters. Like Miles Morales, awesome character.
He's gay?
It's the number one.
But Miles Morales is not white. He's African. He's half black. He's half black, half Latino, for instance. And you create a new character versus then going back and be like, we're going to change Peter Parker's background. And where you get the difficulty, I think, with some people is you have this background on some people, especially when you get into a visual media like comics, where I've seen Peter Parker this way for 50 plus years, and now you changed him to be this if they were going to change him, for instance. Creating a new character, I think, is a far more interesting and compelling thing, and also gets fresh blood into the world of comics, which is desperately needed.
Yeah, and Miles is like the number one, like, this is how you do it right. Like, lots of people have tried it, but also it worked because Brian Michael Bendis had just written, over 100 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yeah.
So they had redone Peter Parker from the ground up and then told, a 15-year story that led to his death that then inspired Miles. And it's like, okay, so now we got a kid who got bit by a spider and decides to be a hero because he sees Peter Parker die. It was perfectly done. And there'll never be another character brought on done that well, but they've tried to do it multiple times. But Miles is the pinnacle. That's the best version of redoing a character.
I think they've also done a really good job with Jonathan Kent as Superman. And Jonathan Kent Is he bisexual or is he gay? I can't remember what it is, but he has a boyfriend in the
he's
comics now,
bisexual. Yeah.
for instance, and it's just been no big deal. It's part of him. It's part of
Who
his
the fuck's
character.
Jonathan Kent? Isn't that the father?
Superman's son.
Superman's kid.
He named his
But
kid
he couldn't
Jonathan
have a
after his
son.
father. Yes, he did. He had a
But
son.
he can't have a son. We all saw this in Mallrats.
Right.
Blast out like a shotgun. It should be dead.
Well, regardless,
She
part
gets
of the
suntan. Kid kicks through.
part of the fallout of New 52 is bringing back Clark and Lois and their kid Jonathan, and they aged him up a little bit. Now they aged him up to what? He's like in his early 20s now, or late teens, I think it is. But he is the Superman of Earth right now, and he's a bisexual Superman. And like,
Did they age the world too, or did he like super age for something?
I don't remember. I don't read the
Super
Superman
age.
comics
God, I
close
hate that.
enough.
Yeah, it's
Superman
convoluted 'cause,
super
yeah,
aged.
the Superman of the main DC universe died, and then the guy that Jonathan Kent's dad is actually Superman from
The
like
pre-New
Earth
52.
2. Yeah,
But-
one that Superboy was trying to kill off.
But that all got
somehow,
merged into some weird
yeah.
mess of stuff. But regardless, it's been, and people melted down over that when the news came out. Oh my God, Superman's bisexual. Like, Superman loves
Yeah.
Lois. I'm like, yeah, he loves his mom. Because Superman then was Jonathan Kent, not Clark
Yep.
Kent. So
'cause
yeah,
it was
of
a new
course,
character.
of course,
Yep.
Superman loves Lois. That's his mom.
Yeah, people love that argument.
I mean, but that's where we are now. Is that's the kind of meltdowns we get. Is even when you introduce a new character, then it's this shouldn't be that way. Blah blah blah. Like the whole meltdown of the Little Mermaid stuff is also ridiculous and stuff like that. We're talking about imaginary things, and
Yeah.
you know what? Just because they were portrayed as white in the movies years ago, the Little Mermaid, doesn't necessarily mean that's what they are,
well,
or
the other
why you
problem
can't
is
have
when-
multiple mermaids.
Yeah, well, the other problem is when companies try to do it like too much too fast. I'll put it that way. They did a poster from Marvel, I think, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, where they were announcing all the changes to all the characters at basically the same time. And so then you had the Miles Morales Spider-Man. You had Ironheart as like the Iron Man character. You had Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. You had Jane Foster Thor. And so they put out this poster, and it broke 60-year-olds' brains because they couldn't recognize a single character, and it was supposed to be the main Marvel roster. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we don't need to do all of these characters at the exact same time, y'all. Like, this is a bit much.
Well, I
And
think
some of them had good stories and other ones didn't was part of the problem.
part of it is it came off as disingenuous a little bit. It was,
Yeah.
oh, look at us. We're going to insert diversity into everything all of a sudden instead of, making it organic.
Exactly.
So I think that was part of it. So even if you're someone who didn't have issue with that, it's jarring, though, to be like, holy shit, we just went from 1 month where I'm used to Bruce Banner as the Hulk and all these characters, and now they're nowhere to be seen. You've introduced a bunch of new characters. I don't care whether their skin is red, white, blue, yellow, purple, whatever. It's more jarring that it's this character that I've followed and known for years, watched in movies, and all of a sudden they're gone and replaced with someone else that's more of a what the fuck moment kind of thing. It's not the race or the orientation of the new character. It's that all of a sudden they're inserted in out of nowhere and you go, wait, what?
Yes, and it makes more sense with certain ones. Like when they did the Amadeus Cho storyline, it wasn't bad, but it was a little jarring. Just all of a sudden I just figured out how to take all the gamma out of Bruce and make myself a Hulk. Like, wait, when did you figure this out? I mean, I know the kid's supposed to be the 8th smartest person on the planet, but it went from he was a background C character that a lot of people didn't really care about, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's the Hulk. But then they turn around and just make him brute. So now he's just a strong teenage kid, and he's not really a Hulk, but he's kind of a Hulk. Well, at the same time, you got the writers over there with Miss Marvel doing this amazing job creating a brand new character from the ground up who's an inhuman, who gets superpowers, and who just happens to be a giant fan of Captain Marvel. And so she ends up becoming a Marvel. She doesn't have the same powers as Carol Danvers. She has no relationship to Carol Danvers. She's just a huge fan. That's kind of what Amadeus Cho was for Hulk. Like, he's there in the background for all of World War Hulk. Like, he was a character that Hulk had saved at one point, and so Amadeus Cho was a huge fan of the Hulk. Not necessarily Bruce Banner, but a huge fan of the Hulk, because he knew that the Hulk was down, at its core, the Hulk was a good creature that didn't, murder people. But yeah, it was weird storytelling and weird timing when it's like, oh hey, we're gonna throw up the new roster and you're not gonna recognize any of the Marvel characters. It's like, well, that's maybe not necessarily a good thing to change them all at the same time. But I mean, some good stories came out of it. Some other stories weren't as good, and that's why Miss Marvel's still around kicking ass and has her own show. And most people haven't heard of Brute unless you're a Champions fan.
And like I said, the biggest thing was it just felt disingenuous. It wasn't like, hey, we're trying to fold in a bunch of new characters organically. It was more, hey, look at us. Look what we did. Look at us. Look at us. Exactly. Hey, we're so progressive. Give us your money. That was what it felt like. Whether it was their intention or not, that's how it came off.
Yeah, well, and that's why I think some of them stuck, because the ones with good storytelling previous to that stuck. And then the ones that were just, maybe this is a half-ass PR thing, kind of fell off.
Also, bear in mind, anyone especially who's listening in the audio version, we are 3 white dudes in our late 30s, early 40s talking about this. We're not the best people to talk about diversity here, but I think we can say from this standpoint that I don't think we're part of the problem, because we tend to be more open to these kind of things. Now I sound like we're patting ourselves in the back, and that wasn't my intent. But
it's a fucking comic book. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Done.
I own every issue of Miles Morales as Spider-Man. So I own 500 straight issues of Amazing Spider-Man. I also own every issue of Spider-Man that has Miles Morales on the cover. Yeah. So yeah, I'll pat myself on the back. I like both characters. There can be 2 Spider-Men.
I mean, and more what I'm meaning here is, while we're not exactly part of the group that's impacted by the inclusion of diversity and stuff like that, I don't think any of us in this show have ever expressed a problem with a character being gay, black, whatever, things like that. It's more been, this doesn't really make sense how they're folding this character in, has been our reservations on some things in the past.
Okay. I think it all comes down to good writing.
Yeah. Our reservations are more about the story, not necessarily the person in the story when things come up. I don't know. I just wanted to try and put that out there, and I described it poorly just to have the background for folks. I don't know.
That's the ATGN way.
How the hell did we get here? I started off by saying, show me your butthole, and now we're here? What?
Hey, real quick before we move into other things, evidently I was on Twitter while we were talking this morning. Vanity Fair just dropped a big story about Ezra Miller and the Flash, so get ready for that firestorm to die.
Oh, is it what I've been hoping for?
Not that he's fired. This is a 6-week investigation.
Arrested.
So they put some of it on Twitter, and it was a 6-week investigation. Sources described the actor's spiral as a conflagration of mental issues, drugs, guns, and outlandish claims. So
yeah, no shit.
Here's one of those claims. Sources say Miller referred to themselves alternatively as Jesus and the devil, wrapping the superhero they play into their grandiose speechifying. Miller says one source was claiming that the Flash is the one who brings the multiverse together, just like Jesus.
Wow. All right, Warner Brothers, here's your chance to get rid of this awful movie.
Ezra, you fucking moron. Superman is the Christ metaphor, not the Flash. Get it right.
Man, there's more here, too. That just sound disturbed, and I don't know how you keep going forward with this movie. So, more, in June, a temporary protection order was filed by Chase Iron Eyes and Sarah Jumping Eagle on behalf of their 18-year-old sibling, Dakota Iron Eyes. They have since withdrawn their request for custody because they believe the odds were stacked against them. Quote, they accused Miller of grooming, brainwashing, and emotionally abusing the teenager, who Miller met when Iron Eyes was just 12. They say they are some kind of messiah, and they're going to lead an indigenous revolution, says Iron Eyes' mother.
Which, who's indigenous?
The child or the person that has been folded into Ezra Miller's, groomed into Ezra Miller's circle.
Indigenous to what country?
Native American.
Oh, okay.
They're also called
that depends on where you are is what indigenous means, right?
Yeah. In August, Vermont State Police went to Miller's farm with an order from the Department for Children and Families. A woman named Anna had moved in with her children, but the farm was said to be full of guns. One person remembers Miller burning sage out the barrel of an AR-15 and waving it around while singing. Late last year, Miller allegedly embarked on a meandering road trip with a small entourage, weapons, and a Kevlar vest.
Hold on a second. Let's go back. Did you say burning sage from a gun's barrel?
Barrel, yeah.
Just that's how you're doing it. That's how you're burning sage through the house. Holy shit! Oh my god, how are you guys not fucking thinking that's weird?
Oh,
As
that's
much
really
as I
weird.
am.
I mean, that's pretty low in the grand scheme of things that are weird here. What'd they say? Warner Brothers has not commented. Miller admitted they're in the midst of an intense crisis. One of the sources in the article says, the way I describe it is it's like you're in a non-consensual, emotional BDSM relationship with Ezra.
What do you mean it's like? That
Another,
sounds
when
as-
asked
what
whether
is?
he ever witnessed any altercations involving Miller, says every interaction with Ezra is an altercation. Ezra Miller needs help. Ezra Miller needs help. This movie should not be being made still. The fact that they still keep pushing it and that Warner Brothers is helping them to rehabilitate their image right now is horseshit. If Warner Brothers actually gave a crap about Ezra Miller like they claim to, it wouldn't be we're going to rehab their image. It would be we're going to help them get help. But no, they got to get the fucking movie out.
Sure.
What a mess. That movie shouldn't be happening, and I hope nobody goes to go see it, which I know won't happen because we've got Batman and other things like that in it.
Mm-hmm.
Willie, you had a suspiciously evil look on your face there.
I'm a man who loves dumpster fires, let me tell you.
Okay, fair.
So I might go to this movie.
Actually, by all accounts, the movie's supposed to be pretty good from what came out of the early screenings and stuff like that. It's more just that the person who is the figurehead of it is kind of a dumpster fire right now and has been kind of leading a bunch of folks astray and obviously needs help. So I didn't bring this up more to dump on Ezra Miller, but more to take us back to that point of why the hell is this movie still coming out? They canceled Batgirl to save money on taxes.
Yeah, no one can shoot themselves in the foot like Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
I mean,
who supposedly wants to get acquired by NBC Universal now.
So they canceled Batgirl, and one of those stars just got a fucking 5-minute ovation after The Whale was premiered in Where was that at?
It was one of the film festivals.
Yeah, film festival. I think it was Italy. I forget where.
Was it in
What?
Was it Cannes? Or was it
Cannes.
Toronto Film Festival?
I don't think it was Toronto. I think it was
It's
Italy.
happening now. Can was like last week.
Okay.
So yeah. But 5-minute fucking ovation. He's in the movie. Don't care. We're not releasing it. We're ixing it. Fucking stupid. Thank you, Brendan Fraser. 5-minute ovation. Even The Rock said thank you for giving. He was in his first movie ever. The Mummy Returns.
Yes, I remember that one. It has some of the worst CGI ever in it. That
It's not The Rock's fault.
I know. I wasn't, but they brought that up on Corridor Crew, which I thought was pretty funny.
CGI couldn't handle the eyebrow at the time. The
people's eyebrow.
Couldn't handle it. That's why it looked so terrible. They went all their effort just to do and it just didn't. They just couldn't handle it, man. Fucking overheated, and they just did what they could do. I'm rewriting history.
You are
might solve a mystery.
Rewrite history. Oh no.
DuckTales.
Don't sue us, Disney. Please don't sue us. I mean, what?
Disney can suck a fat one. DuckTales. Woo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you talking to me or Disney for suing us? What?
Why can't it be both?
You want Disney to sue us?
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
I didn't know how to get out of that. I'll be honest. I just didn't know. So I hit the button.
Run away.
News of the
I
week's
approve.
News of the week's that part of the show where we run down in our minds what is some of those interesting geeky or nerdy news to have popped up here in the last week or so, and share it with you guys who are watching live and or listening at a later date. I'm going to go first because I've got two stories, but they're both pretty short, and we'll power through them pretty quick. But in news that surprised me that came out of nowhere is HBO Max has been pursuing a Constantine series or a movie, I can't remember what, with J.J. Abrams. Well, evidently that's not happening. J.J. Abrams is going to shop it around to see if someone else is going to pick it up. But why, in part, they're not going to be doing that is it was announced out of nowhere that Warner Brothers is developing a sequel to the 2005 film Constantine by starring Keanu Reeves with director Francis Lawrence. This is something people have been asking for off and on for a while, but
Really?
yeah, this is pretty widely liked by fans, this movie. That being said, I haven't seen it in probably a decade, the last time I rewatched it. I really enjoyed the movie. I have a copy of it upstairs, and I think it's probably, like I said, been a decade since I last watched it. But it was fun. It's not like the definitive interpretation of Constantine out of the comics or anything like that, but it is
Yeah, because it wasn't played by Sting.
Right. And I thought Keanu Reeves was really good in it. It just kind of surprises me that 17 years later, a sequel's coming. Evidently, it made about $200 million in 2005 box office dollars worldwide. They did say Reeves will be back as John Constantine. However, they have not said if anyone else other than the director and Akiva Goldsmith writing the screenplay will be coming back. So it could be interesting.
I just hope
they know if there's going to be LaBeouf.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I hope he doesn't come back. And no offense, Shia LaBeouf is what like the pre-evolution of Ezra Miller. He's up there, but he's not quite Ezra Miller, but he's getting there. Like he's a
If I
crazy
remember correctly, Shia LaBeouf's kind of weirdness and breakdown, all that none of it to do with hurting other people, though.
Oh, that's why
they were just weird.
evolution.
Yeah, they were just having issues with their own celebrity and fame. So yeah, I'm just saying I wouldn't compare the two because I don't think Shia was also doing anything illegal. Like
he was, I think he got caught with a. I don't. Am I liable for slander here for shit?
If you don't know, don't say. Let's just leave it that way.
Oh well, I think it was that artist. Who was her fucking name? Fuck, it doesn't matter.
It would be interesting though, because I mean that Constantine movie was solid. It was a really well made film.
Sia? SIA?
I don't know. Yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, I just never expected that 17 years later we'd get it. I mean, good for Keanu Reeves. He said he enjoyed playing the character in interviews. Keanu's a busy guy. Between the Matrix sequel that he just did, between doing another John Wick, weren't they filming 4 and 5 at the same time?
I think so, yeah.
And then he's going over to go do John Constantine again.
Well, guy's got to stay busy. He likes working.
Hey, I always like seeing good guys succeed. Keanu's a good dude.
Yeah.
Good news. That's what most movies are. Good guys succeeding. Congratulations on your well life.
Sure. Other news I had. Let's stay with movie news. So remember a few years back how Patty Jenkins was coming on board to do a Rogue Squadron movie in the Star Wars universe?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was teased 2 years ago. Then last year it was kind of dying off a little bit. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's still happening." Yeah, it appears to not be happening now. However, we haven't gotten any official notice from Disney or Lucasfilm. I've got an article on Polygon.com here where they noted that Rogue Squadron has been removed from Disney's motion picture schedule. This means Disney currently has no Star Wars theatrical release in the pipeline. The news came in a scheduling update sent to the media Thursday afternoon last week, which made changes to 11 Disney movies that have or had premiere dates scheduled between March 2023 and July 2024. Right now, all that means is Disney is focusing on doing Star Wars in the streaming verse versus doing movies, which after the last round of movies we had might be a good idea. Although, interestingly enough, Pedro Pascal said he'd love to finish The Mandalorian as a movie, which I think could be interesting.
Sure. I mean, at this point, I don't really care. Just do something with it.
Well,
they got to put a finale to that thing together somehow. And I mean, if anything, they've learned that Pedro Pascal can do anything on film, movie, TV, whatever, and it'll be amazing. I mean, He went full Nick Cage in a Nick Cage movie alongside Nick Cage. What can Pedro Pascal not do?
Nice save. You got it right the second time.
Did I stumble over his name?
The first time I was like, what was that?
Oh, I'm still confused because I mean, I saw the Secret Service, the Golden Circle, and somehow he was whiskey and not tequila. It makes no sense.
I mean, all right. So I think why he was
Johnny Whitebread should have been whiskey. Pedro Pascal should have been tequila.
Whatever. But anyway, I think the whole reason that happened was that what's his name? Channing Tatum. apparently he couldn't. I don't know. Something happened with him where he was supposed to have a bigger role for that, and that's why it just got pulled away with Pedro Pascal having getting pulled in. But for some reason they want
amazing in that movie.
Oh yeah, fucking love it. When he comes up when they're at that festival and he hits on her, I can feel his breath through the screen. He's just really breathing in as he's hitting on her. It's like you can feel it.
And the man can wear a cowboy hat. Like, damn.
It's true.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's true. So, but going back though, it appears there's no Star Wars movies set for anywhere in the current window that Disney's put out. Rogue Squadron's off of it. We've never gotten any announced release dates for the rumored Rian Johnson trilogy, nor the Miller and Lord. Were they supposed to? No, it wasn't Miller and Lord. Who else had a series?
Well, no, Miller and Lord were doing Solo and they were pulled from it.
It was the Game of Thrones showrunners that were supposedly going to do a Disney movie.
D&D, whatever the fuck.
And then
names
Taika
are.
Waititi supposedly has a Star Wars movie that's not on the schedule either. So there's nothing at least until 2025 that we may potentially hear
Well,
about.
it's going to be only shows.
Nerds, calm down. Calm down. There's plenty of Star Wars shows that are still getting made, so calm down, nerds.
Well,
Not
I
you
wasn't,
guys, the
I
other
wasn't
nerds.
trying to incite panic. I thought it was more of an
I
interesting
know.
change in strategy, where at one point they were trying to do a new Star Wars movie every year, basically. Now it's,
They
hey,
almost
let's
succeeded.
lean hard into streaming.
Well, they did it for what, like 4 years straight? Between Rogue One, Solo, and then the 8 and 9 of the Skywalker trilogy.
I think they did it for all of the sequel trilogy movies, had something in between them, be it Solo.
basically
or,
5
So they
years
did 5
straight,
years
yeah.
of it.
Solo
Yeah,
was a good movie.
Yeah, Solo
I
is a
said
good
it.
movie.
Yeah, Solo is a good movie.
Rogue
It's not a
One?
great movie, but it's a good
All right.
movie. Rogue One is a great movie.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's like the best sci-fi war movie probably at least the last 15 years.
Yeah, it was more like a war movie. I don't really care for war movies.
It's sometimes that's what really works though. It's people not making Star Wars movies or Marvel movies. Ant-Man wasn't a Marvel movie. Ant-Man was a heist film that just happened to take place in the MCU.
Yeah,
Rogue
and
One-
Winter Soldier was a political espionage movie.
Yeah, which was awesome, and it happened to take place in the MCU.
Why'd they
Rogue
stop
One-
doing that?
I don't know. Rogue One was a war film that happened to take place in the Star Wars universe. Sometimes that's the way you need to go with the director, where they're putting, it's like, oh, I'm not making a Star Wars movie. I'm
All right.
making this type of epic film, and it's going to take place in the Star Wars universe.
I'm disappointed in you, and I'm also disappointed in you because I gave you both layups. I said I was tired of a war. I don't like war movies as a Star Wars movie. The war is in the title of it. How'd you not call me out for that?
We can't spend all of our time calling you out for all the stupid shit you say, Willie. We
fair.
wouldn't have a
Fair enough.
the
Fair
podcast.
fucking enough. Let me just sit back here and look pretty
Well, you're already failing at that.
because I'm
Got it
talking too
halfway off
much.
Camera.
Yeah, we'll go with that as the reason. That's the reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bachman, why don't you go next? What you got for us?
Ooh, nice segue.
It's a lot
So-
less nice when someone brings it up.
Oh, but it made it more funny.
So there was an announcement. I'm not sure how much you guys will care. I'm not sure how much I care, but it is kind of a big deal for film. So in a Variety article put out on, what's the date on this one? On the September 18th, Woody Allen has announced his retirement. So he says
Oh.
after his next film,
He's not in
he's
jail.
going to quit creeping people out. No, because he's been out of the country, avoiding whatever for a while. But yeah, apparently, see, what was it? While in Europe, working on his 50th film, Woody Allen told Spanish newspaper La Vanguardia he intended to retire from making movies and to dedicate more time to writing during his twilight years, which is now set to be his final film, is set in Paris and will be shot entirely in French in a couple of weeks. So apparently it's going to be similar to Match Point, where it will be exciting, dramatic, and also very sinister. Allen recently wrote his 5th collection of humor pieces, Zero Gravity, which will be published September 27th by Alianza in Spain and the U.S. by Simon & Schuster. Yeah, he's basically just hanging out in Europe. As well as, he's been shooting more often in Europe as his support in the U.S. has plunged given the abuse accusations against him. So he opened a film festival in 2020, has basically just been hanging out over there ever since. So It's apparently we're winding down to where at some point we'll not be getting any more Woody Allen movies like every year
Good.
or every 2 years. Which I think I've seen like 5 of them. Like, yeah, of the 50. Like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the newer ones. I was like, what?
No, I mean, like, over my life, I think I've seen 5. He's just, yeah, it's not my favorite thing, but, yeah.
I don't think I've seen any.
The dude's, like, ducking people and ducking, lawsuits and stuff, hiding out in Europe, but eventually he's going to go away.
And he's creepy as fuck.
He is. So,
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad his career's ending. Hopefully he stops making money off of people now.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if some of the weirdness went away. And then it's other major news, but it's definitely a change in things. From a Variety article from August 23rd, Warner Brothers Film Pivot saying why Warner Brothers Film Pivot is the right move. It says more than 2 years after the launch of HBO Max, Warner Brothers is making a major pivot back to PVOD, where they announced the removal of all the titles that we saw, and then exploring the creation of a fast service alongside its plan to merge HBO Max and Discovery Plus into one offering in 2023. So we knew that merger was coming, but let's see, what was it? Yeah. Maybe more remarkable is Warner Bros. Done away with its prior commitment to HBO Max receiving films from its 2022 slate 45 days after release, starting with Elvis after the box office smash The Batman and less lucrative Fantastic Beasts hit the service on time. Elvis can only be watched at home currently via VOD outlets for a premium fee, so they stopped doing that, like, basically day and date to HBO Max, trying to make more money, which it'll be interesting to see what the numbers are on Elvis. But yeah, they were showing in this article the change in what they call the pay one window, where stuff comes out and then where it goes to first after the theaters. And yeah, like the amount of money that Sony has made during that period compared to the other companies that are all fighting the streaming wars is just kind of ridiculous. And so what was it? They said, having already grossed more than $140 million domestically, Warner Bros. Elvis managed to top the charts for every VOD outlet after its digital release earlier in August, after WBD CEO David Zaslav openly praised the film during the company's last earnings call, which saw leadership field tense questions over its strategy, including the decision to scrap any kind of release for Batgirl, which we just talked about, and even though the film was nearly finished. So yeah, it's this whole streaming wars thing, and then whether or not you rely on VOD is still making changes. And now that we know that Disney Entertainment is only going to do 2 more movies this year, and then we've got just other changes coming along the way. It's really weird to see like what's happening. And following that, though, Sony put out a release saying that they are moving back their new Karate Kid movie. So it's going to be summer of 2024, and they're also pushing back both the Kraven and the Madam Web. So the next 2 Spider-Man, quote-unquote, Spider-Man-related films will not be coming out on time. They're also pushing back Chris Pratt's Garfield and Adam Driver's 65, which I hadn't even heard about whatever that one is. But yeah, with the popularity of Cobra Kai, it's not surprising that Sony's trying to relaunch the Karate Kid again.
But it has nothing to do with Cobra Kai. The Cobra Kai showrunners came out and said.
Yeah, I know. And everybody is watching Cobra Kai should know that, but Sony's still going to try to capitalize. This is the same company that put Morbius back in theaters because
it's Morbin time, man. It's Morbin time.
Popular on Instagram making fun of their movie. So yeah, so they see a spike in Cobra Kai on Netflix, and so Sony's like, oh no, we're going to go put out a new Karate Kid movie. So what was the delays on? Yeah, Kraven the Hunter, the Aaron Taylor Johnson film centering on Spider-Man antagonist Kraven, will now bow out until October 6th of 2023. It was supposed to be out in January, so it's getting pushed back basically another 10 months. And then Madam Web was supposed to be February 16th, 2024. Oh, it is going to be February 16th, 2024. It was supposed to be the October 6th release. So Kraven's taking Madam Web's spot, and Madam Web's being pushed off until 2024, along with Garfield. 3 months to which is going back to Memorial Day weekend of May 24th of 2024.
None of those movies you've mentioned I give any shits about. I hope they just cancel them. I don't want to see Kraven. Yeah. I don't want to see a Garfield movie again.
I like the idea of Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven. I don't like the idea of a Craven.
Oh, he's playing Craven?
That's interesting casting. I give them that.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting casting. But
Although
see,
it should have been Ethan Page, but neither here nor there on that.
Well, either way, I don't want to see either of them in a Craven movie that doesn't have fuck all to do with Spider-Man. I'm sick of Spider-Man related villain movies that are in no way related to Spider-Man.
Here's how they spin it to get me interested. Put Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in the movies with them.
That's something.
Oh, of course, he's a wrestler.
Does he not look
Ethan
like
Page,
Craven the Hunter, though?
No, sure. What?
Yeah, if you put
Anyone
a
can
little long
look
hair
like
on
Craven. I can look like Craven the Hunter.
Ethan Page would
He's
do a
looked
great...
like a bunch of different things over the years. Like, it still has a similar, but it's...
Ethan Page would look like Craven the Hunter straight out of the 90s cartoon, though.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what would be awesome. But yeah, it's just... these freaking supposedly related Spider-Man titles that keep them holding on to the contract are just awful. We saw how bad Morbius was. The 2 Venom movies were not great. They're passable. But so far, we have 3 villain movies that have no relation to Spider-Man whatsoever, other than a post-credit scene in, like one Spider-Man movie where Tom Hardy's talking to himself. I mean, it's not even really a Venom scene. It's just Tom Hardy talking to himself.
Well,
like,
and
so
then in Morbius,
poorly
they
done.
brought the Vulture out of the MCU universe into whatever universe Morbius exists in, but somehow he had all of his MCU tech, which I haven't figured out because...
Well, because it made no sense whatsoever, even by comic book standards.
Yeah.
That any way that the spell worked, were bringing people that know who Peter Parker is into a universe would somehow take one of the guys in that universe and push him into a different one. And then, he arrives with tech that doesn't exist on that planet because that planet never faced the New York incident.
There's no Chitauri, no Stark tech.
Yeah, with the Chitauri invasion.
No Stark tech.
And Stark. Yeah,
no Avengers, we know that too.
Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Of course, there are no Avengers anymore in the MCU either. They're disbanded.
But there are Avengers.
There are Avengers, and there are Thunderbolts.
It's true. But yeah, I don't know. I just really want, people need to stop seeing these Sony films so that they stop trying to make money off them. If they don't go see Craven, don't go see
Sony. Make better movies. How about that? Just make better movies.
Sony, take the bill, take the big paycheck that Disney's waving at you, because I know there's a lawyer doing this job every day going, how much? How much? And just give them Spider-Man back.
You had gold with Uncharted. You fucking had gold, but you fucked it up because of one name, Mark Wahlberg. That's what fucked you up. You were so dickatized by Mark Wahlberg.
Really like that
Dick
guy.
Diggler, or whatever the fuck his name was in that movie.
Dirk.
What the fuck ever? I got it right. He had a dick.
Well, that's true.
I seen it.
Okay.
It's in the movie. Don't they show it in the movie?
Mm-hmm. It's like the last scene.
Was it a prosthetic, or he claims it wasn't? I don't fucking know.
No, it was a prosthetic. But yeah, it's just all these companies making such weird ass moves. But I really hope at some point Disney's able to throw enough money at Sony to get the Spider-Man movie rights back and just not deal with this alternate universe bullshit and just have it all in one place.
Yeah, I don't know if that's happening because I imagine that price tag is pretty insane.
I think it's about as well as they're going to get the rights back to Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, but they've already proved they don't need to do that because you don't need to have an Incredible Hulk movie to have a great Incredible Hulk. You just need Mark Ruffalo as an Avenger.
I mean, I liked Edward Norton as the Incredible Hulk, for sure. That was a good movie.
Yeah, problem is apparently it was impossible to work with Ed Norton unless he's in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
Which is
Ed
why he
Norton
didn't
would have been a
need to be
pretty
in
good
the MCU.
team player in the Avengers movies, having to share screen time with Robert Downey Jr., who was arguably the biggest star at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to see that short little shit next to Thor. That'd be hilarious.
Just see Thor go.
I mean,
Avenger.
I like you, Edward Norton, but you can be punched in the fucking face. I like you. I like you. I want to state that. But I mean, I want to punch you right in the fucking face.
All right, I think that wraps up that
That's what I had.
story.
Yep.
So, Willie, what you got for us?
Me? You shouldn't have.
Okay, well then Willie's done. He doesn't have any news for us this week.
Fair enough. Let's go.
And we're done.
No, I won't take your news away from you. I was just.
Oh, it was a bit. Oh, it was a bit.
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Fuck yourself, Chris. I knew it was a goddamn bit.
Well, now it's not. Fuck your news.
So I've been watching some YouTube, a lot of YouTube recently in the last bunch of fucking years, because who hasn't? But in it, a friend of mine showed me this channel, and I was like, okay, let me see what this is. It's called Channel 5. And it's just this dude interviewing people. His name is Andrew Callahan. And turns out, I fucking enjoyed it. Also, find out, HBO acquires Andrew Callahan's Channel 5 documentary about January 6th riot. Produced by A24 and Tim and Eric from the Tim and Eric Show.
Oh wow.
Oh, well, wasn't expecting
Yeah.
that.
Was not expecting. I've been watching this guy. He's done some funny stuff where he goes interviews people, and like he just lets them talk. He also has some good entertainment with his questions and stuff. Yeah, it is entertaining. Like he's done the like I showed you guys in the pre-show, or you heard it. They Show Me Your Butthole is from the Talladega one, the NASCAR one. He's also done. He's gone to a fucking sneaker convention, and above it, they were also running a bridal convention. So he said, "Fuck it, we'll go there too." So we went to both of those, and just let people talk. Just let them talk, and they'll say the weirdest shit. He did one on the that Freedom Convoy thing. Yeah, it's been hilarious. But yeah, this one coming out. Yeah, the documentary will follow Callahan's wild RV journey through America in the months leading up to the January 6th Capitol riot. Callahan directs and serves as executive producer alongside A24. Yeah, Tim and Eric, the comedy duo Tim and Eric, also executive produce. Is untitled and does not yet have a release date. That's all good. Because, I mean, you can't reshoot anything for this. At least I hope
True.
not. Unless there's a sequel. Yeah, but he's been known for his dry humor, eccentric interviews, subjects, and documenting his RV travels across the United States. Yeah, in 2019, he began posting short videos of his interviews on the YouTube channel All Gas, No Brakes. Some of his most popular videos, which reached millions of views, have included interviews at the viral Area 51 raid in 2019, a Flat Earth conference, and the Burning Man Music Festival. During COVID pandemic, and 2020 Black Lives Matter protests, he went to that. His videos moved in more of a serious, newsworthy direction, henceforth the January 6th insurrection thing. Or whatever the fuck people are calling it. Yeah, he also traveled to Minneapolis for 3 days after the murder of George Floyd to cover the aftermath and documented anti-mask protests and other gatherings in the midst of the pandemic. Yeah, this he's doing some stuff. Some of it's stupid and you laugh at it, but it's a lot of stuff in there. Like you see how some of these people work in their head. But good on him for getting put out there for HBO. I know we were just talking about it. I hope this doesn't fucking get canceled.
It's probably relatively cheap to make.
You shut your mouth.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I meant that's why they would make it. Is because it's kind of like the man on the street kind of thing, going and talking to people, and it's sort of reality TV-esque, which is pretty much all what Discovery Channel is anymore. You don't have anything like Mythbusters or anything science-related on there anymore.
I got sad news.
Why? Oh,
I'm out of cigarettes.
Oh. Oh, sorry, Willie. Are you going to be able to make it through the show, or are you going to have a Nick fit?
Okay, I don't like the way you call it like that. It feels very discriminatory, and just because I choose to be a smoker doesn't mean you get to make fun of me.
Well, Willie, why don't you just start vaping? You can always have extra vape juice. Willie's got the vape now too. He's not out of tobacco yet.
It's not tobacco in there, but it is legal.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want to know what flavor is it, Willie. Is it flavored vape
King
juice?
James the 13th. That's the name that was on it. That was all flavor. The brand is cake. Because it is. Yeah, it's a legal thing. It's called. But the flavor is called King James the 13th.
I'm very confused.
It's not bad.
Well, I'm glad that you'll be able to make it through the show because you can still get your fix.
It's not to... Sure.
Oh, okay, then. Normally, I'd say we'd wrap up the news, but I guess we could touch on it real quick. Rockstar had one of the biggest leaks they've ever had overnight, where a whole bunch of GTA 6 content got dropped out. Willie, what?
Oh, no, I was just very confused. I thought we were supposed to talk about that.
Oh, no, I hadn't had it on there, but I'll bring it up. So, for those that aren't aware, I woke up this morning, popped on the old Bird app, aka Twitter, and started seeing a whole bunch of stuff about GTA 6, and I went, isn't this game supposed to be years away? I think it still is, but evidently footage of GTA 6 has leaked online. PC Gamer reported that a user on GTA forums posted a 3 gig file full of 90 videos of GTA 6 footage. It's not exactly clear how the footage was obtained, but the poster on this forum claims to be behind the unrelated Uber hack from last week, has said they may leak more data soon, including GTA 5 and 6 source code, assets, and testing builds. Now, the videos that are out seem to line up with some earlier reporting on GTA 6, indicating a female playable character. Bloomberg reported that earlier this year, and in fact, Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier confirmed this morning on Twitter that the leak is real. Sources at Rockstar told him this is legit footage and information that came out of the GTA 6 game.
And this just in also, I'm confirming that in the footage, Rockstar has made the female lead character pretty much a Pixar mom in her proportions, if you get what I mean.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. They did showcase this character seen robbing a restaurant, taking hostages. There's another clip that shows a playable character on the Vice City Metro train, which lines up with reports that it's set in Miami, aka Vice City, like we had in GTA Vice City. Let's see, what else was here? They have said, people who have dug into this footage more than I have, had said that it's not clear how old the footage is, but it appears to be running on RTX 3060 Ti and RTX 3080 cards. This means the development build that got out there can't be any older than 2 years old.
I'm sorry, did you say Vice City is supposed to be like Miami?
Yes.
I thought it was supposed to be like Miami, but trashier. So I thought it was supposed to be Tampa Bay.
It was supposed to be like 80s Miami.
Yeah. Oh, come on, I'm trying bits here.
It wasn't very good.
It was a good one. Tampa Bay is a trashy Miami.
So there's a lot of footage out there about GTA 6. I saw on the old Bird app this morning that some people were trashing on it. Oh, this looks like shit. It looks just like GTA 5. It's an early test build that presumably leaked out that's not done. Calm yourself, people. This isn't footage that Rockstar was prepared to share with the public. This is internal stuff they were doing as they developed the game. If this was like official footage that Rockstar was releasing to get people hyped for the release in 2 years, maybe you could have a little concern being like, well, this doesn't look much better than what we got before. But it's not any of that. We're not supposed to see this.
It looks better than what I thought it was going to look like when I first heard, it got leaked. It looked better than what I was thinking.
It's frustrating because some people are just, this just proves it's a cash grab. No, the cash grab was keeping GTA 5 going on for 13 years now? Something like that?
9 years so far? Okay. Was it 2013, right?
That was a bit of an over-exaggeration. But yes, I think that sounds about right. But regardless, that game's been out way too long. We should have gotten GTA 6 a while ago.
Yeah.
We should also have a Manhunt 3, but who's to say?
Nobody's to say.
I mean, I am. I want a Manhunt 3.
Well, then you should start a petition online, because that's how everything gets done, is you have to write a petition.
So many things get changed at change.org. So many things get changed.
Right?
Has anything ever been changed from change.org? Anything. One thing. Has one thing been changed?
Maybe. Has it changed your opinion on anything? Because then it could have changed something.
If change.org can change your opinion, holy fuck, you are a very gullible person.
I'm going to put a change.org petition in that Willie Nelson has to grow his beard ZZ top length and braid it.
I've already done that.
Yeah, you got to do it again and not cut it off in a bad bet.
I don't want to do it again. I already did it.
Yeah, put in the change.org petition. It's going to happen.
Well, if I put in another change.org petition, does it the opposite? Say, hey, do what you want, because I have full autonomy in my own body, Chris.
Do what you want because pirates are free.
But I'm not a pirate, neither you.
Willie, you're a pirate.
You're landlocked.
You're a pirate.
I'm more of a pirate than you are.
I never said I was a pirate. I said you're a pirate.
All right, then why do I have to do that?
Because that's how pirates do.
Why don't I just put like little fuses in the beer and light them when I'm fighting so it smokes all like, ugh. They'd be terrified.
I would pay to see this.
I could be the new Ghost Rider.
Willie's going to come out there riding a tricycle.
Fucking what's his name from Saw? Jimmy with the little doll.
I watched one
Billy?
Saw movie. I have no idea.
Is it Billy?
It's Billy.
Yeah, it's Billy. I'm going. Flaming Skull, Flaming Trike.
No, but I don't mean like a motorcycle trike. I mean like a kid's tricycle.
I know.
I was just making
Can
sure
at least be
you were
sized
aware.
for me.
No,
Is that fair?
because that's not as funny.
So the last time I tried riding one of those,
You got to ride with your
Tiny
knees.
it was at my aunt's, and it was down a big ass hill, and the bike was still way too small. I was a kid still, but it was still too small for me even then. There was no brakes. The only brakes was going reverse on the pedals. That was the brake for that stupid ass tricycle. Why I thought this was a good idea, I don't know. Start going down that grassy hill, and what I didn't know, there was a big dip down the hill. Like it was like a little dip, like a little, about 2 foot wide, little divot.
Like a
That
little
front
dip,
wheel
dip, potato
hit
chip.
down, and I was like, oh, and I flipped over, landed on my back, still holding onto the bicycle as it comes over, still in my hand, and lands back on top of me. Oh my God, I was a stupid kid.
Was?
Still am, but
Okay. Just clarifying. So would you
Hey.
do this again if we could get you a slightly larger tricycle?
yes.
How about if
Larger?
we could get you a big wheel?
Can't be a bigger big wheel, because man, me on the ground is not fun.
It's going to be a half-sized big wheel.
All
So
right,
you're
all right.
in proportion to you.
The seat has to be at least 2.5 feet from the ground.
That's not a big wheel then.
Yeah, it's not a big wheel.
The big
Just
wheel's
make
supposed to
anything with a
ride
big
low.
wheel. No, then you're up Shit's Creek, my man. I don't know what to
All right.
fucking tell you.
Like,
You make it
then we're
2.5
gonna
feet
get
off the
you a
ground,
Power
and you got a
Wheels.
deal.
We're going to get you a Power Wheels, like the old school red Jeep, and I want to hear you go pow pow Power Wheels as you drive around in it.
Can I either have leg room or have it so I can stick my legs out of it? That's all. These legs, that's the problem. You know it, Chris. You like flying in planes?
No, I hate it.
I know, so don't put me in a fucking Power Wheels Jeep. At least have
Well,
my
you're not
legs
going to
out
sit
of
in
it.
the seat. You're going to
Just
sit on
like-
the back of it.
Have me to spread it all out like this. Ugh.
Nobody wants that.
Show me your butthole. And it was really me that was going to show you my butthole all along.
I hate my life. I hate my life so much.
Hey, if you look closely, I'll wink at you.
I'm just glad you're not smoking with it.
Oh, if only.
We don't know what he does off camera. We can't tell.
You're lucky I'm out of cigarettes. What do you think I was up all night practicing for?
Willie's like, I gotta get that nicotine in me fast.
I gotta boof the nicotine.
Jesus.
For all you, boofing is when
No,
you put
don't.
anything you want,
Oh.
illicit or otherwise, up the butthole. So it's expository. That's what boofing is.
Don't do it, is basically what we're saying.
Oh, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you that's what the terminology is. What I said, because I don't think a lot of people know what boofing is. Hey, you remember that old toy? Bop it, twist it,
Yes.
boof it.
It was,
You win.
It was called Bop It.
As soon as you
I don't
boof it, you
think-
just win.
I was like, at any point does the toy direct you to shove it up your ass?
But it should. Pull it, push it, pull it, push it. Yeah, just like that.
I'm surprised they never did an episode about it in South Park like they did the shake weight.
No doubt.
Oh, there it is. The shake weight.
I don't even remember what I was going to say now.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Wait, was it something like this? And this is the part of the show where we tell you the things we've been into.
Yeah, Willie, why don't you take it over from here?
Isn't there like a button presser for something for this? I don't know.
No,
Fuck it, I'll do it.
There's
I'll do it. Fuck it. Oh, you want me to go first?
Go for it. I'm gonna regret this.
You are definitely going to regret this wholeheartedly. So I started play. So I've been told you I've been playing. I've been playing Yakuza 3, and I got to a part where I'm like, "What did I just see?" Let me start off. I saw two weird things. One of them, it was a cutscene where this Yakuza office is getting a phone call from HQ saying pretty much like, "Hey, we need the boss. Where's the boss? Hey, we need the boss over this meeting. This is super serious meeting. We need him here now, like at 3 o'clock or whatever. Fucking what time they said." So they said, "All right." So they go, but the boss is apparently in the other room, banging the fucking wall with what he's doing. Wink, wink. And they just line up as he's done, and he opens up the door, and he comes out and says, "When's the meeting?" He's like, "Well," the guy's like, "What?" Because he didn't know. How could he know? How could he know there was a meeting? And he just slaps the shit out of him and says, "I have to ask you a question." He just goes down the line and slaps all of them. But on top of all that, yeah, there's a screenshot I had to take.
Oh my.
Oh, you are correct in your assumption of what's going to happen here. I'm trying to find it so I can share with you.
Oh no.
So pretty much this part. So in the game, you're running an orphanage in the beginning. You're running for the fucking orphanage. Well, it's fucking awesome. Highly recommend it. I think it's that one. No, it's not that one. Where do I go? Where's chats? Chats. So yes. In the story, you're in the orphanage. There's one orphan who likes another orphan and is trying to ask him out.
Okay.
There's a slight problem with that.
Okay.
I sent the screenshot in the thing. But I had to explain. Pretty much you find out a little bit that she doesn't see herself dating black guys, which is a line in the game. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just read? And as I'm telling someone this, I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's just go to a video. Like, I'm sure someone has played through it on YouTube. Go to find it on YouTube. And this guy on YouTube, I forget his name. I feel terrible. I should probably look it up. But yeah, he's doing the voices for it and everything for everyone. And then he gets to that point and he's like, I just can't see myself. And there's just silence. Just silence. He's like, what?
Just
He's
stopped in his
just
tracks.
so. I was like, I don't blame you because I went silent too. I just stood there. I was like, what am I looking at here? Like, Jesus Christ. The game was written probably around 2008. Not that excuses anything, but it's Japanese, 2008 written, came out in 2009. It's fucking like why is this whole series is batshit bonkers.
That is true. The Yakuza series are insane.
I don't want you to think that they're racist or anything, because they're all they fucking do everything for every race. They do everything. No, they don't give a fuck. Like, not making fun, just like they're nice to everybody. It's fucking, it's wholesome. Like that part, I can look past because of what they do other ways, because they just they go above and beyond everything else. So you can look past this thing. It was just fucking hilarious. I also got back into Everybody's Golf, which I don't know if I said it last week. I probably did.
I think you talked about this one a little bit.
You did.
Yeah, it was called Hot Shots Golf
in
America, but now they just said, fuck it, we're calling it what it's called everywhere else. Fuck America. It's Everybody's Golf now. Deal with it. Like, sure, it should have been Everybody's Golf from the beginning. Although Hot Shots Golf is a nice ring to it. I like it flows. I like it. But neither here nor there. What else did I do? I know I did something else. I started playing a bunch of stuff. I meant to start playing Survive Mars last night. I haven't got that done.
I've heard that's really good. I haven't had a chance to try it myself.
Yeah, I beat Everybody's Golf. Oh my god, I feel like there's something else. What was it? Oh my god, my brain. I was going to watch Thor Love and Thunder. Couldn't. I still need it. Yeah, I still haven't yet. I've been meaning to. Not going to lie, a buddy of mine sharing his Disney Plus, so and then it logged him out for some reason. So I got to message him again. I was going to, but it said nah. Still need to watch Miss Marvel too. God damn it! What? Oh,
I need to get caught up on She-Hulk.
So I started watching 2 shows that I haven't seen for a long ass time, and I might get you guys just to rewatch it, or maybe get you interested enough to watch it for the first time. First of all, Fly the Conchords. Started watching that again with a couple people, and they like, yeah, I forgot how funny this shit was. If you've never seen Fly the Conchords, do yourself a favor and watch it.
It's great.
Bachman, have you seen it?
That's one I've not seen. Isn't that the one where did Taika come from there? Did Taika Waititi come?
He's
on
in an episode. I don't know if it's for the first season or second
He and
season. I don't
Jermaine
know
Clement wrote it, I thought, though.
I don't know about that. I know What We Do in the Shadows he did with Jermaine, I think, right?
I
but
could have sworn he did.
Because Fly Concord was based on Brett and Jermaine's, like, they were a novelty band, like they did funny songs. It seems like they wrote these songs before, and then they just kind of made a story around those songs, it seems. It's great. Highly recommended. But yeah, you got a lot of people in there that you'll forget. Like, hell, Louise and Jean from Bob's Burgers in there. I forget her name, the woman who plays Louise from Bob's Burger, the bunny-eared girl.
Second,
She's pretty much their only fan, and she's very stalkerish.
Nice.
And Gene, the guy who plays Gene in Bob's Burger, which I think his name is Eugene. I forget his last name. I feel terrible. But yeah, he's like their landlord. He shows up in an episode or something like that. But the other show I've also been getting into, another comedy one, Kids in the Hall. I've been going back and watching it because they're on Amazon. It's still so good.
Can I dip my balls in it?
Sure. I don't remember that exact skit.
It is. The guy's got 2 golf balls.
I just don't remember that particular skit.
Yeah, I think it was near the end of the show.
Fair enough. My favorite one they did was someone coming up and saying, now, normally a skit has a beginning, a middle, and end, but we thought, what if we got rid of the beginning and the end, and it's just the middle? It was perfect. It was so perfect. And yeah, that's what I've been getting into. That's what I wanted to say is, Kids in the Hall. Dave Foley, you're amazing.
He is pretty hilarious.
He is.
Scott Thompson, too.
I'll go next then. I've been playing some more Cult of the Lamb. I really enjoy that game. I'm playing on the Switch, so it is not quick load screens or anything like that when you go and load new maps and things like that. I haven't had any problems with it. I also haven't run into some of the game-breaking bugs that some people have reported on PC and other consoles and stuff. But I have a lot of fun with that game. I just, my most recent playthrough, because I haven't quite figured out the right way to properly balance my dungeon crawling with my cult building, I unlocked the cannibal trait. So now that when there are followers of mine that dissent, I can kill them and then feed them to the rest of my followers, and that makes them more loyal because of the cannibal trait.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. I've enjoyed that. Willie doesn't seem very impressed by the fact I'm feeding people to people.
Oh, no, I don't mind that. It's just the loading times, really? Like, the game does not seem that intensive. Like, what the fuck's the loading?
It's not terrible. It's just a noticeable difference on the Switch when you compare it to other systems. Like, when you start a new map for the dungeon, then you've got a load screen of like 15 seconds, basically. Whereas, I guess if you were playing on an Xbox or a PC, you would be talking like a third of that time.
Sure, it's like, it doesn't seem that intensive.
Some of this stuff is going to get optimized as they put more patches out, I'm sure, and they've also committed to some free DLC updates, things like that. But it is delightful. I enjoy being a cult leader that has a crowd of people that are there to get me food items, to service the land and do work for me, and then when they dissent, I can murder them. It's pretty fun. The thing I don't like is I have to pick, because since I haven't unlocked the outhouse yet, I have to clean up their shit every time they poop.
Make them do it.
No, you can't make them do it, but I have got it set up so that you can take the poop and put it in a fertilizer silo, and they'll fertilize the crops with the poop then. Once I get the outhouse, then the outhouse will just dump directly into the fertilizer canister, I guess.
This is a weird game.
It's a combination of roguelite dungeon crawling and like city building sim kind of stuff, where you've got to do stuff. So it's fun. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've unlocked some cool weapons and stuff in there too.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the dungeon crawling, I'd be a lot more interested in. But that just takes it all away from me. Like I don't give a care. I don't care about the Binding of Isaac gameplay. Don't fucking care about it.
Did you ever play
That's what-
Hades?
No, I know it's about that too. Yeah, I know those types.
No,
of
and I
games.
get it.
I don't like
Roguelike
those.
games are not really my jam normally. I love Hades.
That's
though.
not a roguelike game. The roguelike is just the system where you die, you restart.
Yes, and that's what Hades is.
Oh, well, I thought you meant like the gameplay of like going around fighting.
No.
I thought that's the part you were talking about.
No. That's what Hades is, and that's the same mechanic in the dungeon crawling aspect of Cult of the Lamb. Is you die, but you never really die for real. You
I
just
fucked
lose
up.
25% of what you collect, and your followers lose faith in you, which is problematic because if enough of your followers dissent, then you have to start recruiting again, and that's a pain in the ass.
Ooh.
So
What's the recruiting mechanism?
you basically rescue people in dungeons, and then occasionally you'll get some quest which is, hey, we've got these 2 starving people that want to join the cult, and you can have them join, but then they're starving, so you have to dip into your food reserves, and you may not have enough reserves to feed them.
Kill them.
And if your cult is starving, then they lose faith in you, which makes you less powerful. So that's part of what happens, is you have to weigh the odds of, do I let this starving person in? And if I do I just bring them in to kill them and turn them into food for everyone else? Because followers will lose faith in you if they notice you kill them directly. But you can also perform ceremonies where you basically say, I'm taking their soul to heaven, basically, and kill them as part of that, and they don't lose faith in you. So you have to be smart about how you kill your followers.
Can you rename your followers?
Yes, I believe you can.
Yeah, I thought so because I wasn't sure, but
And
someone
change
told
their
me
appearance
that.
when you recruit them and stuff, too.
You can name them Food
Yeah.
Bag 1, Food Bag 2,
Right?
Food Bag 3.
And you can make vile concoctions of food. Like one food, I think it's called literally the vile concoction. It's made out of like follower meat, poop, and grass. And like if someone eats it, there's a 75% chance they die. But if they live, it gives them like plus 20 to faith or something like that. So you can weigh the odds there. But like, well, this guy doesn't like me, but if I feed him this vile concoction, maybe that fixes it all. It's
I mean, it would
interesting,
fix it one way or another, right?
right?
Yeah. It's an all around problem solver.
But since I've unlocked the cannibal trait, when you die in my cult, you just get turned into food.
Nice.
So I don't have to worry about burying people or anything like that. I just turn them into food. I really enjoy that game. I played a little bit more of Phoenix Immortals Rising since it hit Game Pass. But, crap, what's the name of the game? It was a PS4 exclusive. It was by Arcane Studios. It's coming to Game Pass this week.
Arcane Studios. PlayStation Arcane. I don't know that name.
Well,
Arcane.
it was Bethesda. A Deathloop. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah,
Deathloop comes to
Oh,
to Xbox Game Pass this week, so I'll be giving.
I think
Deathloop
that was
trial.
a PlayStation 5 exclusive. I think.
It might have been. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But regardless,
I don't think it's PS4.
regardless, it hits Game Pass this week, so I'm looking forward to giving that a try. They did say on that one, I think it might have been PS5 exclusive, because they said the only way you'd be able to play it on an Xbox One is by cloud streaming it.
No.
Well, that's previous gen hardware, so that would tend to jive with what you're saying of that being a PS5 exclusive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, can't you play it on the next gen?
Yes, if you want to play on the Xbox One, the only way to play it is via cloud streaming. That's the
Oh
previous
yeah,
generation.
just like the fucking Switch with some of those games
Yeah.
like Control and Kingdom Hearts 3, where it's cloud based.
It works surprisingly well every time I've tried it, be it on my PC or even on my Xbox. I've streamed games on it before with minimal issue. So who knows? What else have I been getting into? Watching professional wrestling. Got myself a new T-shirt, freshly squeezed.
Is it freshly squeezed?
It's my bright orange T-shirt. It's freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Were they talking about what's being freshly squeezed?
Oranges.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't see an orange on there.
The shirt is orange,
Yeah, but it's not an orange.
but the guy's name is Orange Cassidy.
Hey, do you know if the fruit was named after the color or the color was named after the fruit?
I don't know, and I don't really care. Do you?
I do. The
Well, it
fruit's
was-
named after the color.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
No, wait, it's the other way around. No? Shit, I can't
So
remember.
you do know, huh?
I thought I did. But
Hmm.
there's not an orange on there. It looks like he's doing a jerk-off motion.
No, it's a half thumbs up.
No, it looks like a jerk-off, but freshly squeezed. It makes sense.
No,
It's a jerk-off joke, right?
No.
The world's laziest thumbs up.
It's the world's laziest thumbs up from the world's laziest professional wrestler.
What does freshly squeezed have to do with a thumbs up?
Because his name is Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy is his name.
That looks like a jerk-off joke. That's what I would take it as if I saw it on the street.
Be wrong?
You would be wrong.
Yeah, but would I be wrong for assuming that?
I literally just said you would be wrong. I mean, and honestly, who's going to wear a jerk-off shirt in public? I'm in my house. That's not in public.
A bunch of jerk-offs?
Oh, what, are you going to stay in your house all day long after this?
Yes.
That's not what you usually say.
He said he's got football today.
I got football today. I'm going to go out in my
Shut the
backyard.
fuck up. Don't help him, you piece of shit. You're supposed to be on my side here.
I might go in my backyard long enough to take my dog out to poop. That's about it.
You're supposed to be on my side, too.
And that's private property, so I'm not out in public. I'm on my property.
If that's how you're going to argue it, fine. You get it. Whatever.
Because I'm right.
If that's what you want to say.
It's not like I'm going to the grocery store.
You should.
No, last time I went to the grocery store, I wore my Read Banned Books shirt we talked about last week, and that was fun. What else have I been getting into?
Stuff.
I don't know, man. I've been really busy with work and then just puttering around on some projects around the house. I don't have anything super exciting. I did get a new action figure to hang on my wall, I guess. That's what I did. I love me some Batman Beyond, so I already had the original version. This is an updated version that is the damaged suit, and what's cool is all of that damage on the suit is glow-in-the-dark paint. So at night, the damaged suit glows.
Nice. Where
the damage is, which I thought was cool. And I paid a whopping $15 for it so I could hang it up on the wall next to the non-damaged version. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting.
Somewhere around here, one of these boxes, I have one of the very few Batman toys I have. I think it's either the 200th Batman toy or 250th Batman toy. It's the Terry McGinnis, where you push the button on the platform and his arms go up and he pops out the wings.
Yeah, that one's sick.
It was either the 200th or 250th Batman toy ever made.
I think
so they made it, Terry McGinnis one.
I think we killed Willie. All I see is his elbow sticking up. Did he pass out from lack of
How is it the 200th or 250th? They should have made a lot more Batman figurines before that. What?
The toy came out in 1999. So
yeah,
that was 20
I know.
years ago.
Batman's been out for how many years before that? And they've only made how many things?
Well, at that point, it was 250.
Yeah. I'm sure it was 2000. Batman.
Well, I mean, 2,000 figures were made, but that doesn't necessarily mean different types.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like the 250th individual, completely separate Batman toy.
Like for that company, maybe, but not. There's been Batman figures for fucking 70s, 60s, 50s, right?
Yes, but not a lot.
Yeah, because they had, what are they called? Mega Dolls?
Migos,
yeah, the originals.
That's what gave us Twisted Mego Theater in the Toy Fair magazines by Wizard. Friggin' love Twisted Toy Fair or Twisted Mego Theater.
Which, yeah, I'm pretty sure led to the creation of Robot Chicken.
Pretty much. I mean, Twisted Mego Theater is basically Robot Chicken before they had a TV show.
Yep.
And they only used Migos and very occasionally a different kind of action figure. Spider-Man was drunk. No, Spider-Man was an asshole and Iron Man was a drunk in that, and Hulk was stupid but hilarious. If you ever get a chance, go read some of the old back issues. I think they even made like collected editions that are in paperback of Twisted Mego Theater, which got turned into Twisted Toy Fair Theater because I think the folks that owned the rights to Mego threatened to sue them or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't want the name in there.
Because they brought Migos back recently. There was like retro Migos that were out like 2018, I want to say. I remember seeing a whole bunch of Star Trek ones and stuff like that. I'm like, why are Migos back?
So everything old is new again.
I mean, I guess there is that. That's what I've been getting into. I can't really think of anything else of consequence. What about you, Bachman? What you been getting into?
Getting all caught up on my AEW wrestling, and then I decided since I'm working my way through, I finally finished The Sopranos, and to kind of take the edge off of watching The Sopranos on HBO, I've been watching Parks and Rec, which is a really nice show to pop on for like 15 minutes during my work breaks, because it's, it's nice and easy, it's dumb, it's funny, and so I was like, well, since I'm paying for Peacock right now, I might as well watch some of the WWE stuff, just see what's going on. And I went back and started watching the they're not called pay-per-view events now. What are they called? They have like
Premium live events.
premium live events. Yeah, so I watched the Rumble for this year. I watched part of SummerSlam. Like partially. Oh, because I realized I started watching SummerSlam. And I was like, you know what? I should just go back and watch everything for this year. So I watched all the Rumble, which was, they had a couple of good matches in there. And then I started watching WrestleMania. And so I'm partway through day one of that. Sadly, the thing started auto playing after the Rumble, and it, for some odd reason, started playing the day 2 of WrestleMania.
Whoa, hold on. Whoa. Day 1, day 2? What?
Yeah, WrestleMania is now a weekend. It's now a Saturday, Sunday event.
WWE, go fuck yourself.
WrestleMania now takes place over 2 days. Yeah, so been watching that. And I don't know. I was telling Chris in our chat, it's kind of ridiculous that I was watching the Rumble. It's like, it's all I could hear in my head was the meme of the kid saying, "Hey, I want Private Party, Ricky Starks, and Jungle Boy." And the mom says, "Oh, we got Private Party, Ricky Starks, and Jungle Boy at home." And you get home and you find the Street Profits and Austin Theory and whoever the 420 dude bro is, Riddle. And yet they just seem like dollar store versions of like current popular AEW wrestlers. I swear there's got to be someone whose only job it is to look at an AEW star that's popular, and then Vince McMahon sends them out and says, "Go get me a version of that that's cheaper." And they seem to keep finding them because some of them are not good.
They don't have an Orange Cassidy.
It worked through the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens if Vince actually goes away, because he's supposedly going away, but he's retiring. Whether or not that actually means he's going away or not, when he still owns like 80% of the controlling stock interest in Titan Sports. So
he's not doing the creative anymore, you can tell, based off of how they've changed things up.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be changing. I mean, and hopefully, with like Stephanie McMahon and Hunter Hearst Helmsley do have, they have their problems with certain wrestlers and problems with certain types of storytelling, but like they were both involved in some really good storytelling. So it could be a nice chance to see WWE, make a kind of a change in direction of where the company's heading. So it could be good, but man, I gotta tell you, after watching like 3 premium live events in a row, like it's more entertaining to watch an episode of Dynamite most of the time than it is to watch a live premium event for WWE, where it seems like they spend more money on their AR visual effects than they do on their writers.
Actually, Clash at the Castle was really good, I thought. And this is coming from someone who doesn't watch weekly WWE content. I thought it was a good show. Now, I fell asleep for part of it, but that's mostly because I was sick, not because of the quality of the show.
Yeah, I did watch that one. It was funny to see that, what's his name, McIntyre? All they had to do was get him to grow a beard so he doesn't look like a rich douchebag. Oh,
he also put on like 60 pounds of muscle too.
Yeah, he left the business and did the Hunter Hearst Helmsley body transformation camp, and then came back and looks like a superstar.
He's one of those guys that went and recreated himself in other organizations. Like he went to TNA and became a big star there, and that made Vince big. Oh, maybe I was right about this guy, and then brought him back, and arguably he's been one of their top tier guys in that company since he's been back.
Man, because he's badass now. Yeah, that Clash of the Castle match that he had was a good match. That was impressive. But there's just some lackluster storytelling, and it's still, especially going back because I watched the Rumble and then WrestleMania, all of this prior to Vince's announcement of leaving, and it's still just basically like, oh, if there's a big guy and a little guy in the match, the big guy's going to win. Vince is in charge. And so, other than Rey Mysterio, like no little guys are allowed to like be superstars really. So just a little disappointing, but I've watched a couple of good matches this week, and I'll probably finish watching all the rest of the pay-per-views as I'm nearing the end of season 4 of Parks and Rec. And so I think once I'm done with Parks and Rec, I'm going to cancel Peacock, because for $5 a month, it's not bad seeing some of the movies that have popped up on it, like They/Them and some of the other things that have been on there that have gone directly to Peacock, but I don't know if I need it to keep it constantly for $5 a month. Did watch some Cobra Kai, which was awesome. We're like 4 episodes into the new season. And then Jan and I have also been keeping up with our Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. And yeah, it's like the one show looks really pretty, and it's just a bunch of people standing around talking. It's like Kevin Smith wrote this new Lord of the Rings. Like there's not much action going on. It's a whole lot of talking heads. And then the House of the Dragons has just been badass. Like, even the political intrigue stuff seems more interesting and plays better. And I don't know, it's just an interesting show where I feel like falling asleep when I'm watching Lord of the Rings, and I never feel like I'm going to fall asleep when I'm watching Game of Thrones right now. So between the two, I mean, they both look really pretty, but one of them, the budget's like 4 times the other one, and so it looks really, really pretty, but it's not helping their storytelling. And then we decided, we're getting into the end of September, so it's time to start doing scary movies. So we went on Netflix last night and just went through like the new horror movie queue and just added like 10 movies to our list. And we ended up watching a movie called Wretched, which is a kid moves in next door to a house where there's like a weird possession thing going on, which is how it's listed in the Netflix description. Not really what's happening, which is kind of funny because as we were going through some of the other movies, we realized some of the people at Netflix are just getting lazy. Because one of the horror movies' description was, this movie stars so-and-so and so-and-so and is directed by so-and-so. That was the description of the film, was telling you the names of 2 of the actors and the name of the director. I'm like, that's not a film description.
No. They literally said so-and-so.
They might have. But the Wretched one was good because, yeah, it ended up being way better than what it sounded like in the description. And it's like this kind of strange, like, Earth Mother demon. So it's a mix of, like, Earth Mother goddess mythology mixed with demon possessing mythology, where this creature comes out of the earth, takes over someone's body, and then it has this weird thing where as it's like eating children to survive, living in the body of a parent, it like scratches out images of them in pictures, which makes everybody forget those people existed. So like it can eat a child and then be living in the house pretending to be one of the parents and convince the other parent by like whispering in their ear, like it does some voodoo to them, and like that other person doesn't remember that they had a kid. Like the other, like anybody that knows anything about that other child, their memory gets wiped. And so there's this weird twist in it where it's like, okay, so there's these kids going around like that just keep disappearing, but nobody knows because the demon has a superpower basically of making everybody forget any kid that it devours.
So he has Superman's kiss.
There you go. Yeah, Superman's forgetful kiss.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was a very strange movie, but also for one, like I'd heard nothing about it. I didn't know any of the actors involved. I hadn't heard of it's a pair of brothers that are the directing team. Like went into it blind, knew nothing. All we did was we saw the trailer, and like it was pretty interesting. Like it's like a solid, like I'd say like 7 or 8 out of 10. Like it was a really interesting movie, and it doesn't really play out the way you expect it to, but really well made, well written, really good special effects and stuff with the creature crawling in and out of things all the time. Like it's got some real good creepiness to it, and then it's not like super scary, but like a good start to the like the horror season. Getting ready, like ramp up. It's time to watch some Nightmare on Elm Street, some Friday the 13th, some Halloween, some Trick or Treat. Like it's getting to be the spooky season, which I think should start at the latest October 1st. I know that nobody over at Behavior agrees with me, so they tend not to have a Halloween event until the last 3 days before Halloween in the end of October. But yeah, the Richard was good, and yeah, there's a couple of other new things popping up on Netflix because of course there's always new stuff popping up on Netflix. So it's going to be a fun month to like watch a bunch of horror movies and stuff. Get ready for the Halloween spooky season. Getting ready for next month, and of course getting ready for this week because on Friday I celebrate my lady's birthday. We're gonna take a drive up to Silver City. That she's been wanting to do that for a while. It's like a ghost town here in Idaho, so we're gonna go take our Friday and go on a little road trip, celebrate her birthday. Yeah, should be a blast. It's always fun doing a little road trip, listen to some music, talk some bullshit. Usually whenever we do a road trip prior to the holiday season, it's when we pick our 3 categories for the upcoming year, but we've already got this year figured out. So I don't know if we'll start thinking about next year, because both of us are prone to go overboard when it comes to gift giving. So we set a dollar amount limit and a category limit. So like we'll pick 3 categories, and then you can't spend more than like, I think $300 is what our limit is for this year. So this year is it's something blue, something to wear, and an album. and then we can interpret those however you want. So like an album can be an album of different things, or there's lots of different stuff you can wear. So but I've got all 3 of mine already bought for this year, so I'm good.
Nice.
It's October, and I have 3 Christmas presents sitting in my file cabinet out in the garage, which is where I hide stuff.
Yeah, I have stuff squirreled away too. I hide
it's
it.
the one place that Jana's not allowed to look, because I said that's where I hide presents.
The problem is when I forget where I hid some of it and then don't find it until a year later and be like, oh shit.
That is bad. And I did remember, because also I got a piece of artwork commissioned at the end of last year that I got knowing specifically it's going to be for Jana's birthday on Friday. And so I did remember where that was at, and I found it in my file cabinet. I got it put back away in there, so I know exactly where it is for this Friday. So I gotta prep one of her presents, and then her other one is showing up in the mail tomorrow, which I will not mention, just on the odd chance that she.
About to say she could be listening, you dipshit.
Yeah. No, but she doesn't know what artwork she's getting. But I'm also not I'm pretty sure she knows what's being delivered.
I'm shocked Willie didn't call back to the beginning of the show right there. I'm shocked Willie didn't try and call back to the beginning of the show right there about the artwork.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
I could too. I'm not going to fill it in for him.
I'm glad he doesn't remember. So
I'm glad he doesn't too.
Yeah, so I got Christmas nailed down, and I got birthday presents bought. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. And I think, this week we actually have gotten in touch with the contractor to finally finish covering our fireplace, which was built up to the ceiling, and the only thing we had left to do is just cover it. And so we finally picked a faux rock exterior thing this week and got it sent off to the guy. So we're waiting now to hear what his bid's going to be for how much it's going to cost to get that done, which will finally be like the last finished thing of us moving into the house, is just getting that fireplace finished, which we have until next month to have our 1-year inspection from the city to show that we finished covering the fireplace in a way that's safe, so that we are covering the part that needs to be where the heat comes out, has to be covered with a certain type of material. Once that's done, we'll finally that'll be everything finished from all the things we were doing that we changed when we moved into the house. And so then from that point forward, it's just doing little updates to little things that we want to update, but it'll be the one final thing that hasn't been complete since we moved in, which has been bugging the hell out of her. And so it's going to be nice to finally have our fireplace done. Go celebrate her birthday. So got a bunch of stuff to look forward to this week. It's going to be good.
Well, on that note, did anyone else have any final thoughts they wanted to share before we start shutting things down?
No.
Okay, thank you. I
Sounds
appreciate
good.
that. On that
So
note,
that was the final thing, was no.
friendly reminder as we shut this thing down, we do stream this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at www.geeks.live. If you're there right now, scroll down to the bottom of the page. There's a calendar of all of our upcoming live events that you can check out. So please, feel free, go check out some other content. I think on that note, we're going to shut things down unless you guys have any final thoughts for the people. Anything for the people?
Go be people.
Go be people.
No.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really do appreciate it, and we will see you next week for more of our brand of horseshit shenanigans. Bye, guys.
Shenanigans.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us at atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.